we're going to start the episode off by heading over to our TikTok page and reading some of the comments that we've gotten on a few of our most recent videos.
People had a field day with this. The comments are ragers. That is a key element, is to show the progress that they made, like to physically show it.
And he's going through this emotional battle in his head, of is he good enough? And he used to be, but does he still have it?
Oh, yeah.
My next pick is welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
And we post new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're doing a training montage draft.
3, 2, 1, action.
All right, Andrew, we have yet another draft today. It's going to be me and you. We're going to be drafting the best training montages. For me, I'm thinking of the ones that just get me pumped, and get me excited. We're going to flip a coin to see who goes first. We're going to just go back and forth in our picks. And then at the end, we're going to have the audience vote on who has the best collective team. We're going to each draft 5 movie scenes. But something that's really cool about this draft is that we're going to actually watch the movie scenes that we're drafting right as we're drafting them, so we can talk about them more and it can be fresh in our mind, so we can see, wow, that was a really great pick, or Andrew, that sucked. Yeah. Why'd you pick that?
Aaron's probably going to get on the ground and just start doing push-ups during one of these.
Dude, I might. Just right on the table, just swipe everything off, start popping out. I just can't control myself.
I'm really excited for this. We'll talk. We don't want to give away our picks to each other, so we'll talk about what makes a good training montage as we go along / at the end. But we can't tip each other off, because the key element of the draft is trying to steal things from each other that are good picks.
And we each have a good understanding of what other movies each other likes too. So
it makes it all the more interesting.
And for this, when I was doing research, I couldn't find that many videos or lists of training montages out there. So we really had to kind of think on our own and try to find these montages. So there's a bunch out there that I know I'm forgetting, and I'm hoping that you have a few of those so I can remember them. But hopefully they're just not as good as mine.
Yeah, I don't want to snub any movies either, but we did have to kind of go just off our memory of movies, because they're not really comprehensive lists online of training montages.
Do research for this draft. Normally there's a lot of lists out there, and we can kind of determine and debate where we would draft these different elements. But for this episode, we're going to start the episode off by heading over to our TikTok page and reading some of the comments that we've gotten on a few of our most recent videos. Some of them are baller. I'm excited for this part of the episode just because some of them are so funny, man. And we love interacting with the audience, and we post new full episodes every Monday and Thursday, but then we're posting every single day on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook Reels, and all that. So, Andrew, do you got a comment or two lined up that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, there was a lot of people that taught us things. Somebody said, so the video that I'm starting off referencing is a video where Aaron was talking about in Aquaman how sharks need to keep moving, specifically the great white sharks featured in the film that they're riding on their back. He said it takes them out of the movie when the sharks sit in place, and people had a field day with this. The comments are ragers. So I've got such a stupid thing to complain about in a superhero movie. Everybody on this wavelength was ridden. This is people, oh yeah, sharks can't sit in place. Well, there's also people breathing underwater, and oh yeah, well, Atlantis also isn't real.
Petty people. But yeah, some specific ones from Billy 3D. It's a weird thing to call out. Okay.
I think that this person had a really good case in our defense. There's a quote from Mark Twain. It says, "Get your facts first, and then you can distort them as much as you please," which is kind of making the point that Arron was making, that like there has to be a set of rules and boundaries, and then you can break those rules. You know, like there has to be an element of realism in order for the whole thing not to just fall apart.
One of the comments, Dennis said, "Not gonna lie, that movie only did well due to females and some males' love for Jason Momoa. The story was terrible. CG, meh."
This,
Like, hey,
go
ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were still going. I responded to a comment from a very unhappy person who said, "Nobody else is going to give a F if the shark's moving." And I said, "Clearly none of your friends are marine biologists." That person said, "Too bad you guys were talking about a superhero movie, not marine biology." Dead face emoji, smiley face emoji. I said, "I feel like the joke went over your head." And they said, "I feel like you made a pretty shitty joke. Trust me, I got it. Trust me, I'm smart."
Trust me. It will not go over my head. I will catch it.
You're talking to Drax. They're like, this guy's like, "I'm smart. Trust me, smarter than you."
Donnie Lee Landers III said, "I feel like this is the equivalent to freaking out about a freckle that's on a character's face that's not there in the comments. This is just so silly. Oh my gosh, people. It's just, in this scene, I'm already having to suspend belief that these people are breathing and moving underwater like fish. And then they're sitting on top of something that is actually real, and that real thing isn't doing or isn't following the laws that it does in real life. So it just takes me out of it. It's kind of like when a character jumps and their jump has no like weight to it, no gravity to it. And it's like, oh, that was a weird jump. Like that took me out of the scene for a second, and I remembered that I'm watching a movie. And that's what happens when I saw these sharks just sitting in place. It just looked silly, guys. It was silly. It would have been better if they just made up another creature that they were sitting on.
It's just weird for a human to ride a shark.
Yeah. One guy did comment, I can't remember if it was on TikTok or on the Facebook, but he said, "What if those saddles aren't saddles, but it's a mechanism for them that's pushing water over their gills so they can stay in place?" I was like, okay, that's
World building.
that's creative thinking right there.
That turns, yeah.
But the movie still sucks.
Somebody also said apparently if there's a current right there, that water can flow through their gills sitting in place. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. But on the brighter side, we also want to start shouting out kind of responses, because on Spotify, you automatically have a chance for Q&A for people to respond. And we've had some people respond. So we want to start acknowledging those. For the one that I'm looking at here specifically is from Sean Seamus. On our Departed movie review episode, he said, "Thought it was cool that you guys used this film. Really enjoying the episodes, guys." So Sean, thank you very much. I hope you're still listening. That was episode 69 if you want to check out the Departed review. And going forward, we want to kind of look at the results of our Q&As, and we'll do some polls on there as well. So feel free to engage with us in there, and we'll start shouting you out on the show.
Yeah, definitely. The podcast is slowly growing. We're at 416 subscribers right now. If you count all of our videos on YouTube, we have 407 videos, and we have 85 actual full episodes. So we're pumping out content. And we have some ideas for future things coming up too that were kind of in the works. And I'm really excited to see like kind of the next phase of the podcast of Backseat directing.
Yeah. And thanks to everyone who's here watching us grow. We always try to take the opportunity wherever we can in our show to thank anybody who listens. And we do have regular listeners every week. So to you guys, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking this journey with us, and we're hoping we can grow your group.
Yes, definitely. All right. Should we start this draft?
Let's figure out who's going first. You ready?
Okay, so the coin flips have never really been in my favor here.
May the odds be ever in your favor. Go in the air.
Heads.
What is it? It is absolutely uncanny how you lose at this.
Dude, what the heck, man? What are you doing? How are you flip? Let me try. We can go off of that. That one can count. But
just to check the efficacy of the coin.
All right. Call it in the air.
Heads.
tails. I figured it out.
It's the person who flips the coin. No, we've tried it before though.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
I'm gonna choose to go first, by the way.
she's go first, Stanley. Whatever. You're just afraid. You're afraid. I can see it in your eyes. I feel like we're not gonna have the same scenes, but
Probably
at
not.
the same time, I think it's a high possibility that all of them are the same. Like, I don't know how to gauge
small
this
amount. I think there'll be a small amount of overlap. That's my opinion. But so just to cover the rules for the draft, Aaron, I believe you already said this, that we're going to go back and forth, 1-2, 1-2.
Yeah.
And we're going to pick, it can be any training montage. So it can be training in any activity. It doesn't have to be for a fight.
Yeah.
Any kind of
They're
montage.
just practicing a skill. It's like
But it's not like a clothing montage, like that traditional, like where they change the outfits. Like it's just a training montage specifically. So that's our criteria,
they're
criteria.
practicing a skill that typically is going to happen in that third act of the movie.
All right. Are you ready for my first pick? I don't know. I don't know if it's
I'm ready.
like
I'm ready. I got this.
I don't know if there's an obvious number one contender, but for my first pick for the training montage draft, I'm going to pick Batman Begins.
Ooh, yep.
How much more iconic do you get than the training of Bruce Wayne into being the Dark Knight? I mean,
That's a good pick. I'm going to pull it up here real quick.
it's the opening of, or it's in the first act of Batman Begins. I mean, Chris Nolan plays a little bit with time, so it's not the very beginning of the movie, but it is Bruce Wayne being trained by Ra's al Ghul, being brilliantly portrayed by Christian Bale and Liam Neeson, and everything is so good from the dialogue.
Which one do you want? Do you want the shorter one?
Let's do the shorter one. I hope it's not just the sword fight though. If it's the shorter
Want
one,
to do the long one?
yeah, we'll do the long one.
Yeah. What's 5 minutes? You guys got time at home, right? Come on.
Yeah, if you guys are listening to this, feel free to. So Spotify automatically is going to upload our videos. If you're on Spotify, you'll be able to see these clips on there. Or you guys can also always check us out on YouTube if you want to enjoy the visual aspect. That's especially apparent in this episode.
Well, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here.
Yeah, so don't check us out visually.
Yeah, just wait. And we'll let you know when. It should be here soon.
But this scene is really integral to like the development of Batman, and it also shows like the development of his ideals, because we see the dichotomy between him and the League of Assassins, League of Shadows, where they're talking about in the middle of the montage, there's a guy who is caught for stealing, and they're going to put him to death. And Bruce is clearly against this. He thinks that there's no chance
Here we go.
him to ever recover. How's the volume?
I'm going to turn it down just a little bit.
But yeah, it builds Batman's ideals, and it builds his strength, reaction time, speed, agility, stealth. It makes him into a force to be reckoned with. Just like Ra's says, you can engage 6 men, we'll train you to engage 600. Like, what kind of training is more intense and awesome than that? He can take on, they're teaching him to take on armies.
Yeah. When I was like researching for this, I saw this scene on there and I was like, I'm not even going to put it on my list because I know Andrew's going to get it. And for whatever reason, I never get to go first. So it's not like I'm going to be able to draft it anyways.
There are other picks that are more iconic, and I know that
This isn't the iconic draft though.
Yeah.
This is the best. This
Yeah.
is our favorite. This is the ones that like get you going.
I know that people
And so far, this
Not-
is not it. This is pretty slow, Andrew. This sucks.
There you go. I know for a lot of people that this is not their favorite, and people don't. And the movie, I mean, Begins, and then a lot of people don't love Begins as part of the trilogy as much as I value it. But like, this is a really
underrated movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
As part of the trilogy, it usually goes last in most people ranking it in the Dark Knight trilogy.
All right,
But-
here we go. Now we're kind of getting into it. He's got the sword. I love the. He's got the arm guard.
Yeah, the start of it's
Yeah.
hinting at a lot here. It's building to a
I don't know
lot.
what that's called, but that's like, I don't know. It just looks so cool.
Yeah, it's cool because
really
it becomes part of the Batsuit.
Yeah.
I love this part. So if you're listening, he's on kind of like these wood pylons.
Beams. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
Posts.
yeah, and so he's having to step from those while people are swinging bamboo sticks at him and dodge them. So he's having to like be super agile
yeah.
and aware of his surroundings. A big theme in this training is being aware of your surroundings.
And right here, they're showing all the different like tactical equipment and like
We get the
like
iconic
smoke
line
bombs and stuff. Yeah,
that
his gadgets. That's the word I was thinking of.
we get the iconic line of theatricality and deception are powerful tools.
Presentation.
Yeah. But yeah, it's setting him up for a lot, right? Like, because even those little smoke bombs are setting you up for Batman's like stealth and diversion, and you know, a lot of iconic comic book and video game adaptations of Batman actually use smoke bombs.
It's good too to see him like kind of losing, you know, and like
that's a key part of a good training montage.
Getting better throughout the training montage, you know, like that's what you would come to expect from these kind of shots.
A good thing that I like about a training montage shows them being unable to do something and then getting that proficiency. Like the test he faces at the end of this montage where there's that room full of masked assassins and he has to like blend into them, and he like cleverly uses awareness of his surroundings and awareness of his condition to trick Ra's al Ghul, and he starts cutting the arms of the other people. Like that is a key element, is to show the progress that they made, like to physically show it. Also, everything in this, all the dialogue, like right now they're talking about...
It's like a comic book.
Yeah.
You know, because like when they're fighting in a comic book, it's not just
they're talking
a blank page. Like they're talking the whole fight and stuff, you know, and I think Invincible is like perfect at doing that.
That's a good, it's a good analysis for this scene.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing here. You know, they're talking through it all as they're fighting.
It's also building to a huge full circle
Another
moment.
iconic line here. Yeah, your arms will take care of themselves. Christopher Nolan just made that up. He said in an interview that he was like, I just wrote that. I don't know if that's like
I've been living based off that,
how
honestly.
it actually works. He's like, I didn't ask anyone. I just wrote it. And then Liam Neeson just delivers a line, and whatever he says, you believe. So no one questions it.
I've been living that like based on that was like an absolute fact. Like I've been doing that. Yeah.
Like protecting your organs, you know.
There's so many iconic lines though. It's like the writing is so good. It's when they're fighting on the ice, he's giving him like a speech about how his dad failed to save his family, and it was the failure to act. It's not about training, it's about the will to act, it's about courage. And like
I will say though, as far as training montages go, it's pretty slow. It's not that exciting.
Stop trying to knock down my pick.
I'm not doing push-ups right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not hyped yet. Like you said, points out a lot of cool things about what's to come.
Well, for your preferences, this is a lot less about strength and speed, and it's a lot more about technique and learning about.
Well, I just have to knock your pick. I gotta find something that I didn't like about it. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's so cool that they're going to teach him to engage armies, and he gives him all the building blocks and principles of Batman that Bruce will then take and like mold into this concept. Because he says to him, he talks about being an idea, like striking fear into the hearts of criminals. Like he twists all these things from their, you know, violent objectives to his like more, you know, a little bit more, I mean, you know, Batman beats criminals to a pulp, but he twists it to this more idealistic perspective.
I didn't click anything.
You're having a lot of technical difficulties.
There we go. It's just replaying the movie, so we can just leave it there. All right. So my first pick of this draft. I don't want to cancel the player. There we go. Pause it. There. Sweet. All right. My first pick of this draft is. What is this thing doing? It's hitting play all on its own. Look. Pause.
I'm willing it to continue to play the Batman scene to overpower whatever your next pick is.
Look, I did it again. I don't know what's going on here. All right, I'm just gonna try to pick mine on here. So let's see if that plays.
We're all dying to know what your pick is.
I know. I'm dying to tell you. Here we go. And so I can sync it up in post here. It's loading. The suspense is building. The scene is gonna be commercial. Gosh darn it. All right. Well, that commercial's going on.
Describe your pick for the listening audience.
For this pick, I'm glad you didn't pick it. I could have guessed that The Batman Begins was going to be on your list. I don't know if I can guess any of your other ones, though. But for me, first one, it's a recent movie that just came out, Creed 3. That's my scene right here. We're starting off. Adonis is coming out of retirement to fight his childhood best friend. And at this point, he's kind of at an all-time low in terms of his like fighting career. He's been retired for a few years. He's slow, a little out of shape. He's been living the comfortable life, you know? He's promoting fights now. He's not the one fighting, you know? And then he comes in training. One of the enemies from the last movie is here training him and fighting. So it's kind of like the emotional battle of that from the previous movie. And he's getting his butt whooped. And meanwhile, the other guy just doesn't have a care in the world, you know, and just seems so menacing. And here Adonis is just getting beat up. And what's his name? Drago? I forget his first name though. But he's just
Victor.
Victor, yes. He's over here like, man, like, should I keep going? Like, I'm kicking this guy's butt, you know, like he's gonna get hurt if we keep going. And Adonis doesn't have the ability right now to take him, and he's going through this emotional like battle in his head, you know, of like, is he good enough? And he used to be, you know, but does he still have it? But
I think he's also going through a lot of emotional turmoil. Is like, should I fight this fight? Like you see this flashback
just
showing.
about to say how they're bringing in the flashbacks, and it's the who he's fighting has more stakes. Look at that. He's thinking about when he has gotten up before in the past, and the music right here
Is really good.
Listen to that, and just that flare coming in like. This is cinematography right there.
We talked about it in the episode we filmed on Creed 3, but the operatic music I think was a really strong point of the movie.
Where you going?
And this is key to the Rocky franchise.
Dude, I
is
have like goosebumps.
the Rocky franchise is about getting back up off the canvas. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you keep getting back up, you know?
Yeah.
And this song by J. Cole is iconic.
Now we go into that rap song here, and he's practicing. Meanwhile, what's his name? Jonathan Majors' character.
Damien?
Yes, Damien. He's practicing too. You know, like we get to see both sides of it. You know, we get to see the good guy and the bad guy. You know, supposedly, and they're training at the same time. And I think that's cool because we're seeing past and present. And we're seeing two people's perspectives in the past and present. I think it's so cool how they tied this all together.
And they're using like professionals to film these with him, which is awesome.
And look, I'm not a boxer, but they look great doing this movement. Like
Smooth.
yeah, it looks like they're boxers, at least to me. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what other boxers would say. I'm sure they would say it looks pretty good. I'm sure they can point out some things, you know,
Critiques.
for sure. But
The music really makes this.
yeah, now he's starting to come back up. He's starting to get his groove, you know, feel things. Ooh, got a face shot right there that he held back on. See, and that's like another thing showing like the difference between him and Damien. Like Damien would have just knocked that training partner out, you know?
Was that not Damien?
No, that was Creed. Who
Oh, it was?
stopped his fist. I see you, boy.
I think that punching that tree too is also like another example of like an anime inspired scene from Michael B. Jordan's direction.
Yeah. Now he's like looking in the mirror, both looking in the mirror, like,
What is that mirror doing out there?
dude, he probably brought it out there, man. He's training.
If I had to do a critique for your scene, it would be like, I think it's a
Too
little.
epic.
I think it's a
It's
little.
like just a little bit too good.
I think
See,
it-
look, he rolled it out there.
There it
He
is.
answered you.
I think it's pretty based on recency bias, because this scene hasn't stood the test of time yet. I do like it a lot,
Yeah, but this isn't iconic scenes. This is the best scenes.
but it's an element.
This is gonna go down as one of the best, like in years to come. Mock my words, boy.
I really like the part where he gets up off the canvas. It's a strength.
Yeah.
Timing music with
like-
the cut, with the edit, with the actions of the character is the most deepest way to connect to our emotions, like on a base level.
Yeah, and what? This is the 9th movie in the franchise, like, and the training montage is still this good. Like, that's awesome. Let's go.
Run it.
Oh man, that was a good part.
Can't use that too.
Part.
All right, that's our time on talking about Aaron's pick. Now it's time to go to my second pick.
Sorry, I got another commercial here. Got to back out of there. All right, we got to make sure we're paying attention to this.
Okay. You So you went with Creed for your second pick, and now it's my turn again. For my second pick,
Sorry, man. It's got a mind of its own right now. I'm just gonna mute it. All right.
okay.
All right. Here we go.
For my second pick, and geez, it's hard.
You better not take mine. I'm pumped up right now. I might just knock you out.
I'm gonna go with Kung Fu Panda.
Ooh.
I don't think this is any issue of this being on your list, but I just can't sit here and continue to debate my picks, so I gotta
pick which one that you wanted.
So I'm gonna pick from the original, the first Kung Fu Panda movie, The Training with Master Shifu. All right, ready? All right, so we're running the Kung Fu Panda training scene, and this is coming just at a point where Master Shifu is about to give up on Po, and I think at this point he's just trusting in his master, Master Oogway, and he's seen this like inkling of a spark in Po. Like he learns how to get through to him in this training, and it's through food. And that's why I think this training montage is so good, because it has a unique element. Like it's about, the point of this training montage is like being as a teacher, finding what it takes to get through to their student. Like he's a good teacher can't teach the same way to every single student. And he just said he's gonna teach him to unlock the secrets of Kung Fu, but he's gonna do it through food, because Master Shifu, both Master and Shifu mean teacher basically. And so this guy's supposed to be like a legendary teacher, and he's really good. He's found a way to get through to Po. It's awesome, and it makes you so happy watching this movie, because all you want is for Po to be like, for his dreams to come true. He wants to be amazing at Kung Fu, and at every turn he's like looked down on, he's beaten down. All the other members of the five kind of make fun of him, pick on him a little bit. Like even the nicest of them kind of give him a hard time at points. Like even Snake and Mantis kind of look down on him. So this is like his get back, and you want him to have that moment. Like right now, Shifu's just explained to him that he's going to use food to get to him. And it's funny, it's entertaining, but also it's pretty badass. Like the level of reflexes and speed and agility that Po displays here is in such stark contrast to like the bumbling nature of his movements, like the entire rest of the film. And then when food comes into play, he's like an absolute legend.
Yeah.
So now he's done sit-ups for food, he's doing push-ups for food. Like,
is this what motivates you to work out?
Dude, no.
Come on, Andrew.
That would not work. I'd feel sick. I thought you meant the scene.
No.
I could watch the scene before a workout. It's the ending of the scene when he's like triumphant. It's just got adrenaline in it. Like even this, like their synchronized movements. Post now, like his push-ups, his like difficulty with push-ups. He's doing one finger push-ups.
That's cool. How the background is now like 2D.
Oh, well, these movies, dude, majorly underrated for like some of the most epic transitions.
You want to hear something that's
transitions
like,
are so good.
sad?
What?
I haven't seen this.
Well, I'm spoiling it for you so bad right now.
Yeah. I mean, I figured that he learns Kung Fu. So
Yeah.
like, I could have put this.
But you didn't know how.
I did not.
But the transitions are so freaking good in this movie. There's one like that I can think of where it starts, like snow starts drifting into the scene, and then it like whooshes in and like transitions to like the snowy mountain.
Yeah.
Like I think you'd love the creativity of the animation when it comes to the transitions. You'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I would like these movies a lot.
It's gonna be hard to not sit here silently and just like watch this scene, because like it's very entertaining.
Yeah.
So right now the Shifu is offering Po dumplings, but he's knocking them out of his hand every time he tries to eat one. So this is like his final test. Shifu's eaten every but one dumpling, and just as Po's about to go for it, Shifu steals it.
He went through it for the mouth. He went with the mouth. He's got to be smarter than that.
But this is where like the actual battle starts, because now they're mano a mano. Like it's all over a dumpling.
Yeah, so
but
now he's like dialed in more.
you get to display all of Po's increased skills, like his focus, his speed. Everything's improved so drastically from when you see him at the beginning of the film. Like he's struggling to climb up like a flight of stairs in the beginning. Like he's struggling to get over a wall, and now he's like effortlessly able to make these incredible jumps and martial arts flicks and
Choreography
movements.
is very creative.
Oh, it's super fast paced as well.
Yeah.
And they're in such good tune and timing with each other. Look at how they change the angle to follow the dumpling. Look at how they, what's that called? Like the bokeh or whatever they create in the background to dramatize it.
That depth of field. Yeah, anticipating each other's next move. He's fighting while still like keeping the dumpling off the ground.
The biggest thing about this is where he came from. He's like a huge underdog in this movie. So that's another element of a great montage that even my first pick doesn't hit on, is like an underdog.
Yeah.
You've got to be the undercard. You've got to be the one that nobody expected. And then the big element of this, he just threw the food back to him and he says, I'm not hungry. So the ultimate like lesson at the end of this is being able to do all of this without the need for reward, being able to call on those skills of his own volition. And he proved that he did all that without even wanting to eat, which is awesome.
Man, that was a good pick. Something in common with your two picks that I've noticed is they're both, the master is heavily highlighted in both of your picks. Sorry, it's TV, man.
Yeah. I think the trainer, like what they impart on the trainee is a very important part of the training montage.
All right, we're going to go right into my second pick here. That way this episode doesn't take forever. My scene's not as long as the last few, so we'll be able to get through it pretty quick here. But that doesn't mean that it's not as good as the last few. But continuing on this kind of kung fu style training, I got another one for you. If it plays here, it's loading. It's taking a sweet time. Man. This TV, like, it's old, man. It's got a mind of its own, and we're trying to...
Luckily, right now, we're just getting to watch the fight between Poe and Tai Lung, because that's what came up next. Spoiling the movie further for Aaron.
Thank you. Yes. Just cancel out of YouTube. I'm trying to sync it up through, like, the Bluetooth, or whatever, and it's just not cooperating here. I'm sorry, everyone.
If we have to switch to not watching the videos, we can.
No, that was the coolest part, man. Like, just gets me excited, like it's coming up. I'll go ahead and tell you what my next one is, though, while it's coming up. I got it pulled up on my phone already. My next one's going to be, again, another recent movie. All of mine are recent movies here. It's going to be Shang-Chi's training scene. And this is like a flashback
to his childhood
scene to his childhood. Yep. Let's see if we can get this to actually play.
This movie is amazing. I love Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Dude, I was watching this scene last night in preparation for this episode, and I was like, man, I need to watch this movie again, because I think I've only seen it once, maybe twice, and it's a good movie. And I think it kind of gets slept on a little bit. I think people are like, oh yeah, like Shang-Chi was actually pretty good, but like, we don't think about it as often as we think about some of the earlier phases of the MCU. Well, this thing here. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's being in the new wave, like Phase 4, I think it doesn't come up in conversation as much as, Captain America 2, but the choreography in this movie is absolutely legendary. Aaron is breaking the internet right now.
Dude, I'm getting a little upset here. I don't know what it's playing. It says loading. I don't know what it's trying to do. Oh, here we go.
Just takes a minute. So we're looking at young Shang right now with his sister, and Wen Wu is calling him out to step into the training fields.
After my mom died, my dad started my training.
So what makes this scene special to you?
So that's going back in time and showing him as a kid and like what he's gone through. It adds to the character development that we didn't get to see up to this point, right? Because we kind of already seen him as someone who's very proficient, and he was kind of forced into this lifestyle. So it adds a lot of depth to his character. Even right here, we've already seen a bunch of progression through this scene. But
I think one thing
the creativity of the choreography is something that really stuck out to me, and the lighting and stuff. Like, I've seen people like twirl this actual, I don't know what it's called, on like TikTok and stuff. Like, it's crazy how people are able to use that as an actual weapon. And right here we see him, much like yours, losing. He's He's not as good as he needs to be, not only to survive. Look at that shot. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Not only to survive, but to get the approval of his father. So he's kind of fighting for a few things here. Look at that.
Engaging a lot of people at once as well.
Yeah.
I think a really cool thing that they touch on early in this fighting scene, like I said, like a unique element, like Poe focusing on the food. Something they focus on is the ability to endure pain as part of his training.
Yeah.
Like he's punching the wall, he's getting hit by the bamboo sticks.
Yep.
It's like that is a big focus of the element of his training is you have to be able to take punishment to dish out punishment.
And the transitions were really cool. Like when he was fighting the post inside and he went to kind of like slam it down to the ground, it cuts right into the slam of the person outside in the training yard. Like you could tell that this whole scene was thought out and planned ahead of time. You know, like they didn't just show up and make this.
And then the movement of that, as he like is sliding on his knees underneath a kick, the camera like follows underneath the kick, moves with him through the fight.
Super cool. All right, Andrew, your third one. I'm gonna go ahead and just give you the phone here, so you can type it in, search what you need, and pull up your next one. So far, you have Batman Begins and Kung Fu Panda, the first one. I have Creed 3 and Shang-Chi. Both of your movies came out a few years ago, and mine have been out in the last couple years. So let's see what you're pulling up here.
For my third pick in the training montage draft,
Loading.
I am going to pick the training scene from Incredibles 1.
No! That one definitely on the list.
This montage isn't just about like getting back strength. It's really all about getting his groove back.
Yeah.
Because he's getting back in groove with his family. He's happy again. He's getting back in groove with his relationship with his wife. And then he's getting back in groove with like his confidence and his strength and like his own belief in himself. Everything's getting better in life.
Yeah, he's starting to feel like himself again. You know, he's not having to hide who he really is.
Yeah.
You know, he is Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
We see him doing better with his children also, which is like a big part. It's a huge theme of the movie, his family.
And that was one of my points for this one is like, it's a training montage, not only for like fitness and being a superhero, but just for being a family guy, for being a father.
You notice
You
they
know,
don't
like-
see him, they don't show him hitting leg day once. And look at those legs.
Yeah. Well, when you have super strength, man, all you need is to look good.
Oh, there we go. I mean, I guess he was juggling the train with his legs.
That's true. That's true. I would have appreciated some sort of score.
But yeah, he's improving as a father and a husband and a hero.
Yes. One thing I did notice by watching this is like, look how far Pixar has come. Like, that still looks amazing.
But just
And if
watching,
there was no more Pixar after that moment, today I would still think it's amazing. You know?
Yeah.
But since they've come out with a bunch of new things, it just doesn't look like it holds up anymore. But
Yeah. I mean, just look at
sometimes it's so good.
Look at the gap between Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2. I mean, I remember people analyzing the poster for Incredibles 2, like, look at how you can see like the fibers on the t-shirt and like the individual hairs on his arm and head. Like Pixar is top of the game for animation without a doubt.
Okay, so my next one here is actually going to be from the first TV show that we have drafted. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up, see what we can get here.
Man, you should have picked Incredibles sooner if you were. I wasn't going to pick your other picks.
I know. I was worried that you were going to get the Shang-Chi one because I remember you
I do
talking
like it a
about
lot.
how much you liked it. And I know you love training montage, and that was like one of the more like fresher training montages in my head. So I was just thinking like, there's no way that this is not on your list. So this is not what I'm trying to play.
Aaron's playing Cocomelon right now. The best training montage in cinema history.
Yeah. That's training your kids to be brainwashed. All right, here we go. So my third pick is Arcane. So this is Powder going back to her old house, her old home where her and her family used to live. And she's kind of reliving it in a sense. And in a minute, you're going to see that she finds this old, like, boxing machine that her sister used to train on all the time. I love this show in general. Like, look at this. You get to see the scoreboard. Her sister has, like, the top 8 of 10 high scores. She was nowhere on the list because she was just a little kid at the time. and she's like just ruthless. She just has no heart, no soul at this point in time. And just the animation in general in this show. Like, look, those quick little I love those. Where it's just a split second long, where it's just on the frame for a few frames. You barely get to see it. It holds your attention, because right now, like, not a lot's happening. But listen to the sound design here.
God, every element of that
No
is
music.
so
Just
sharp.
And then now we hear the sound design of her brain, of her head. What's going on? Like, it's all chaotic. And then the anger just comes out. And look at that. Oh. And it's flashing back between her and Vi. Another element of like the good versus the evil going back and forth, training the same thing. The hits are brutal. She's getting out frustration and anger that's been built up for years and years. And now she kind of has that just emotional release there. And at the end of it, she's still not better than her older sister. And it just hurts her even more. And
that was her older sister at a young age.
Yeah.
That's an old high score.
Probably her age that she is now. It's a short scene, but that show in general is just so well animated. The story is great.
I would argue that your character doesn't come out of that training scene any better than she did before.
Yeah,
she was in it.
Oh man, she's better. Yeah, not all training goes well, and it can be emotional. There's a bunch of days where I'm in the gym and like maybe something in outside of my like workout life, in my real life, is like weighing on me, to where the workout it kind of beats you down.
The workout works you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like your traditional training montage, but in a sense, it kind of is, because there's flashbacks of Vi actually training. So it's maybe not as direct as some of our other picks, but I still think it's top class.
I have two routes I can go. I can go with the ones that are my personal favorites, or I can go with my ones that are the audience favorites. Traditionally, we've gone with our personal favorites, so I think that I'm going to stick there as well, see if maybe I can get some hate. So for my next pick, I'm going to choose the training montage from the movie Never Back Down. Have you ever seen it?
I have not.
Well, I'm going to spoil a lot of movies for you today. So Never Back Down is a movie. It's about MMA. The main character's name is Jake. He has a wrestling background, not an MMA background. And his father's passed away. So he's having a lot of issues in the plot related to his father dying recently. But this movie has you rooting for this get back, for this training montage so hard. He gets his ass handed to him by this guy's basically a bully in school, somebody that dates the girl he wants to be with and embarrasses him in front of a bunch of people at a party. And so he takes up MMA to kind of more honestly, he takes it up to win a fight. But the trainer, played by Jimon Honsu here, he wants MMA to be a way for him to control his anger, to learn mastery of his body. He doesn't want him to get revenge. So he's like kind of hiding from him that his main goal is to get back into this fight. His rule for him to train here is no fighting outside the gym. And like at this point in the story, he's abused that privilege and he's fought outside the gym and hurt some people, but he wins his way back into his trainer's good graces. And he's kind of matured now. Like he wants to do these things for the right reasons. So like he's kind of evolved as a character. He's trying to master himself too. He's not trying to master somebody else. And it has everything that you want. Like this, what I like about this training scene, it has a middle progression. Like instead of showing him fail at something and then nail it, it shows him fail at it, do it mediocre, and then nail it. Mm-hmm. So and then they pay homage to the classic Rocky 1 fight scene where they try to drink raw eggs and spit them right out, which is awesome. The king of training montages gets, a hat tip there. The awesome backlit shot there in that little opening in the doorway. And also an element they focus on here for fighting that's not often focused on is flexibility. Like they're showing him work on his hamstring flexibility and like do these different stretches, and so triumphant when he finally gets the brick the full distance. But the biggest thing is this kick that he can't really nail down. He can't get the power, like, and he's learning about rotating his hips and learning about like the technique aspect of fighting. So when he finally hits this heavy bag, which you'll see here in a second, it's like a really cathartic moment for him, that it's like a breakthrough. And also just the practical application of sparring being thrown in here with the training, the red jumpsuit apparatus song that's playing. So 2000s. I mean, sure. That's Evan Peters, by the way. Ready?
That was cool. You really got to see the force behind that.
Yeah. Earlier in the movie, you get to see him kick it.
A little like, earthquake shake as soon as he makes contact.
But earlier in the movie, he kicks it about an inch. So like you get to see like the overwhelming journey he's in progress that he's made.
Yeah.
Awesome movie. You should watch it.
I'll add it to the ever-growing list.
It inspired a series of movies. There's actually like a bunch of Never Back Down movies.
All right, let me go ahead and pull up my next video here.
I think looking at my list at first glance, like if you just look at the movie titles, there will probably be a decent amount of people that don't know what Never Back Down even is. So my overall list might be hurt a little bit, but that's like, that to me is the most nostalgic training montage ever. Because I watched this movie growing up, and like, this is the training montage that made me fall in love with training montages, you know?
Yeah.
I couldn't snub it from my list. I left it down to 4 because I knew you weren't likely to pick it.
Yeah.
Batman Begins had to go first because I love that. And I thought it was the one you're most likely to pick.
There was risk for that one being picked for sure. This is...
It's just going to play the whole movie?
I don't know. I think it's not playing the... It's loading.
It's going to hurt so much to not pick some of these. There's some ones that are going to be snubbed.
Yeah.
That we just can't pick because we're picking 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so sad. Like, I wish our list had more overlap so you could take up some of the ones that I don't want to see go.
That you don't want to see go?
That I don't want to see go by the wayside, I guess.
Oh, I gotcha. Let's exit out of that. Sorry, guys. This TV, man. We got to figure out a better system here for these. Oh, okay.
Aaron's activating our backseat directing megaphone.
Everything's like going crazy here. It's just technology has a mind of its own. I really thought
We'll take this time to go ahead and just thank the audience for listening if we haven't done so already. I appreciate everyone who is listening to the show, supports the show. Please make sure to give us a follow on Spotify. It helps the show a ton. If you can rate us, it helps the show get seen by other people. And please go ahead and share us with family and friends. It makes a big difference to us. And we're trying to work on increasing our engagement. So go ahead and comment, leave something for us to respond to. We'll get back to you guys in the comments. On Spotify, we can do Q&As and we can do polls. So we're going to put up a poll saying which one of us you thought had a better team of training montages. Vote for which one you thought is the best. You can answer our Q&As and maybe we'll give you guys a shout out on the show. We'd love to bring up comments that we get so that we can discuss them and have a good time. And we like to take on suggestions for episodes too. If anyone has a suggestion for different topics that we can encounter.
Yeah, and we have a few new ideas that we're like trying to work out the details to. So hopefully in the next few episodes, we'll have a few announcements to make, about how we're planning to take backseat directing to the next level, and it's exciting stuff. It's a little nerve wracking a little bit, because maybe these ideas, it's going to push us out of our comfort zone a little bit, which I'm excited for. This TV is slowly loading here. If this doesn't work, we're just going to watch it on the iPad.
Sounds good to me.
So let's give it one more try to connect here. Sorry, everyone listening at home, but this is just how technology is sometimes, it's unpredictable. All right, let's see.
Gives me extra time to debate between these 3 picks that
you have
I'm mulling
one
over.
More pick after this.
But I have 3 in heavy contention for that one spot.
Ooh, 3. Wow. Okay.
Man, I wish that we had time to do these all to 10.
Yeah. I am enjoying a lot being able to watch these scenes, even though it's not working right now. It's maybe adding a little bit of extra time to our episode, but I like it when we're watching, and we can live react to things. Especially like if we did this so far 2 of yours I haven't seen.
Yeah. So you would have no idea what I was talking about.
Right. So I just have to pretend like, oh yeah, like, that was a good one. Or like, oh yeah, but what about that part? That sucked.
Are you going to show me one I haven't seen?
This one I believe you have seen. All right, we're gonna go to the iPad here.
So I'm the master of technology. I've seen everything.
Oh, have you know?
So I guess I can, while you're looking this up, I have potential. We've been talking about doing fun little games while we have breaks in the show. And would you like to do a version?
Yeah.
I have a version of a Would You Rather.
Yeah. What do you got?
It's just an open-ended question. Who would you pick as your trainer?
Ooh, as my
From all these fictional characters, who would you pick
Ooh, that's a good one.
for your training montage?
I would like to work out with Creed. I know that wasn't your question.
Work out with
like,
Apollo Creed would be awesome.
Yeah.
There is no tomorrow. What are you doing, Rock? There is no tomorrow is such an iconic line.
Who do I want to be my teacher? Who would you pick? I'm kind of multitasking here. My brain's not working. Here we go. We're gonna watch it on the iPad here.
I'd probably pick like a legendary. Yeah.
My next pick is from Mulan. This is it gonna work on TV now? You lost your chance.
I mean, this scene is on every list of best training montages.
Yes.
You look up a list of best training montages, it's like 9 Rocky movies, and then the Mulan is in there.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the top 10 in history.
This is like the first one that my wife said. She's like, you better draft this one, you know, like.
I mean, this song is so beyond iconic.
Yes.
This song is literally, they pumped pure hardcore adrenaline right into this song. It's cocaine to the vein, man.
Definitely. And just like all these big tough guys, you know, trying to get this arrow.
Yeah, so to describe the scene to anyone who is listening and hasn't seen Mulan, they are trying to basically, he says he's trying to make men out of these people, which is a central theme of the movie because the woman is the one who ends up coming out on top. But he's
Look at that perspective right there.
Yeah, Maisie looks so far. But they're trying to challenge these soldiers to climb up this tall wooden post and grab an arrow off the top of it. Dude's digging in with his teeth right now. Everyone's failing continuously.
I love the
Even Mulan's failing.
creativity in the animation. You know, the freedom that you have that you just don't have in live action, you know, like those falls where their body's like folding over in half, you know.
Yeah, that's why I picked 2 animated picks because they're just so effective.
Yeah. They can do things that you just can't. Like even that perspective, like for how the stick was so close, like it's not how close it would have actually been. First musical picked.
Yeah, true. Some diversity, animated and musical pick.
Yeah. I've got
Make a
on
man.
my team 2 fight scenes or training montages with women. You know, so that's cool.
What was the first one?
Arcane,
True.
2 women.
That's a good one. This has just so many different elements. You know, you've got the master training them. It's key. The song is super effective.
Yep.
And she's really no good at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
She's just got a plucky attitude and, you know, the will to keep going.
At the same time, though, like, not a lot of them are very good.
Yeah, none of them are.
You know,
they're all
like-
in the same playing field.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are worse, like this guy, the scrawny guy. And
Knocked out all his teeth.
yeah. She's not the worst in the pack, I mean, she does seem to be the one that's a mess because she's like causing everyone to fall over and,
Yeah.
you know,
She's coming into her own here, you know?
but also everybody is trying to make it harder on her, which is the element we talked about, the underdog element. Like everybody being against her in this group, like everyone wants her to fail, but she's out here, you know, grinding day and night. And she's back of the pack.
She's struggling, yeah.
she got some help from Mushu, but really, but really she's
That sucks right there.
she's refusing to quit.
But it's definitely not easy. Like, she's at the bottom of her skill level here for a long time throughout this scene, you know?
Yeah, it's cold and dark, and everybody wants her to quit, and he just told her to go home and gave her a horse. But she's decided like that it's, you know, die before give up, basically.
Yeah. And look at her, like she's being
Smart. And,
right.
Making it intellectual,
right, like she might not be able to beat everyone with her. All right. Yeah, so that's my fourth pick, Mulan.
It's awesome. I mean, that element of that one victory, you know, partway through the scene, like emboldens her to go on, and then she's leading the pack in everything else. She's suddenly like top
it's
of
like
the
that
class.
confidence boost, you know, to like help her push and get to that next level. Andrew, what are you taking for your fifth and final pick?
For my final pick of this draft, and there are some good contenders, I'm having to go with the Wanted training scene. This is an epic montage that focuses on where's the volume? Focuses on multiple disciplines of training. So it focuses on his will, his reason for being there, his reason for going through all this punishment. That's what this part is right now, and finally breaking free from the chair. It focuses on his ability to master this new skill he has of adrenaline enhanced, like slowing down time. Focuses on his ability with knives, his abilities with guns, eventually the ability to curve a bullet. He's learning so many new skills and talents and mastering these different abilities, and it takes place over a long sequence. I mean, this is the very end of the scene, but it's probably almost a 10-minute sequence where this character has like this raw, unrefined ability, and he's been missing and unable to grab this little spool from the thread machine. He's been, you know, getting his ass handed to him in the knife fights and unable to curve the bullet. And it's just such a cool transformation of somebody who at the beginning is like the ultimate loser to turn into the ultimate badass. Because then all this training, by the end of the movie, he's able to kill like the entire group of assassins, the entire fraternity. This train scene is epic too. She totally beat his ass earlier at this, and now he's learning he's learning to like take measured risks and to keep up with her and to actually like
he just
put her on her toes.
The train, by the way. Like,
they're superhuman, bro. He's crazy.
Fast.
But he like burst through the wall. He didn't copy her method. You know, he's creative. He's getting faster, stronger. And I think Wesley is such a cool character in this movie. I mean, he's good-hearted. He's sympathetic, but he's also just an absolute legend and skilled beyond belief. I showed you this movie, didn't I?
I watched it, with you.
Yeah, this is the first time you watched it.
Mm-hmm. Because I read the comic book first. That's why we watched the movie. Not recommended. By the way.
Comic book, not a fan.
Read the comic book.
Everything is so drastic into the 10th degree in this. I mean, she steps in front of the bullet. She steps in between him and the target for him to finally master curving the bullet. So just so many cool skills, and like you want him to get back at these people. Like the people training him are like legitimate assholes to him. So you want him to like get his day in the sun and to like fight back against the butcher and the interrogation guy.
And this is just like an iconic move too, of like trying to bend a bullet. You know, like how cool is that?
It's visually stunning also, just the way it's shot, like following the bullet.
Yeah, and then of course the stakes are really high right now.
Yeah. The only person that I would venture the only person he cares about in the world at this point is Fox. And he's about to shoot at her.
Yeah, and he can't mess up.
Oh, it's so awesome. What an effective use of slow motion.
Agreed. Just skims her hair. Curves
Makes
right
absolutely
around.
no sense in terms of physics.
Also just like the camera racking too. That looked cool.
Rack and focus, yeah.
Yeah.
It draws focus from Angelina Jolie's face to the target in the background.
That's a good scene. I didn't think of that scene.
All these, yeah, that's the one that I told you that I thought I knew you weren't going to pick it. That's why I have it in 5th.
Yeah.
But that's the scene I told you I thought of on the couch right before filming this episode. Came to my mind and was like how did I not pick one of my favorite training montage scenes of all time? Some of my favorite training montage scenes of all time also didn't make the list. So.
Right. Man, you didn't help me narrow down.
You didn't help me narrow my list down it either.
One at all.
At least I picked Incredibles for you.
Yeah, I think this one is maybe a little bit different. I think all of these have been fighting montages. So this one's going to be a little bit different. And let me type it in here. Training. Hold on, gotta find it here.
Man, I'm so sad about the ones that I didn't pick. I wonder which one of mine I would even sub out though, because I don't want to get rid of Kung Fu Panda. And I feel like I owe my allegiance to Never Back Down for the reasons that I said, for being the montage that made me fall in love with training montages.
Yeah. Man, I feel like this is not going to be a popular one. I feel like maybe some would argue that it doesn't count, but maybe I can explain it into it a little bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. This scene is the leap of faith scene from Into the Spider-Verse.
Aaron's just going to pick this for every draft, regardless of the category.
Yeah, man. That's like my goal, is just to fit it into every episode. You know, and the reason I think that it's a training montage is because he's not confident here. He's still getting ready. We see how he's going back to the shed to get the tools that he needs.
This is something he failed at earlier in the movie. He was going to jump off of a building.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the end of that, you know, developmental arc, where we see him at the top of the building here. He's slowly letting go of his fear. And that fear in this sense isn't necessarily someone else punching him. It's being Spider-Man and everything that comes with being Spider-Man. And just that shot right there is so crazy and iconic. The soundtrack is amazing. The animation was obviously groundbreaking. I'm not saying anything new about this here. You know, like everyone already knows all this. I love how it looks like a comic book there. You can see too, I'm pretty sure this is like kind of animated still with some frames missing, and it like slowly like catches back up. You can kind of see the glitch there when he was like holding the web shooters. You know, the city looks great. He's still kind of figuring things out.
Yeah, I think they bring him up from 12 frames to 24.
Yep.
As he progresses.
Yep. And this is his first time wearing the suit, you know, and kind of getting the hang of things. So like, it's a training montage, not from the aspect that he is trying to get over it. It's him as he's getting over his fear. You know, it's that leap of faith.
I'll accept it.
Yeah.
I love the scene. I'm not gonna knock it for anything. I do want to do honorable mentions as well, though, because I have to mention the ones that I didn't get to pick.
All right. So, Andrew, oh my gosh, the comments are blowing up. I see it on my phone right now. We haven't even posted this episode. Where's all the Rocky scenes?
That's one of the hardest ones that I didn't pick. And for me, it would have been Rocky 1, because that's a movie I watched on repeat when I was a little kid. As like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, I named my pet turtles Cuff and Link because that's what Rocky did in the movies. I love that movie, and I love the training scene. I would want to fast forward to the training scene when I was a little kid. I feel really bad having not picked it. It's iconic. It's the training scene a lot of other training scenes are based on, like we've already seen in this episode. Mm-hmm. I love when he hits the giant hunks of beef on the hook. I love watching him run through all of Philly and then just like running to the top of the staircase triumphantly, like imagining that he's taking this victorious moment, throwing his hands up in the air with the big shot of Philadelphia. Like, it's amazing. That's the one that I would have picked. And you could argue Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4. Every Rocky has a great iconic training montage.
Yeah. I didn't want to pick any of the Rocky scenes because I already had Creed.
I didn't want to pick it also because you had Creed.
Yeah, I wanted to. And like when we were looking up or when I was looking up movie scenes for inspiration for this episode, all of them were just Rocky scenes.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously people know that that's on the list, so I wanted to try to think of like other movies that maybe don't come to mind at first.
Yeah, I wanted to get creative as well. So some of the picks that I thought were like more creative picks is I would have mentioned Amazing Spider-Man, although I feel like I didn't pick it because it's not quite, to me, a true training montage. He's just exploring his powers in the Philip Phillips scene where they play that song and he's like riding a skateboard around the warehouse.
Yeah, I thought that one came up in my mind too. I was just like, it's fun.
Yeah,
That's
it's just not as much
scene.
training.
Yeah.
And then I also thought of Hercules, the animated movie where he's training. I thought of The Pacifier, which I think is a creative one because he's like mastering looking after this family and being a family man instead of mastering like fighting related talent.
You don't know my wife's pick?
What?
Legally Blonde.
I don't know that training montage.
She's like going through and basically like studying and all that stuff.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah,
that's a good creative
I don't know
pick.
if that's gonna land, like we're trying to create a list that people are gonna vote on. Our audience is what, like 95% males,
maybe 97. According to our stats. Another one that's interesting is Uncle Iroh. Uncle Iroh's training in Avatar. I thought of that, but it's a little short. It's just a quick burst of him doing some push-ups, pull-ups.
There's a bunch of scenes in that universe
of training in general.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they were quite montages. I feel like the montages are a little bit different than just a training scene.
Yeah. I don't know. I see where you're going for it, where you want like a multi-layered, over a span of time.
Yes.
I understand that. I didn't want to pick any of those because I knew we were watching it, and we always get copyright struck when we show any of the Avatar stuff. So
gets us bad.
Yeah.
There's also Empire Strikes Back, the scene with Yoda
that's
training.
The one
Luke.
I was debating on going to my fifth option, but I watched it and
it doesn't hold up as much as the modern ones.
It's mainly just dialogue. And like they're playing with the Force or whatever.
There was him running with Yoda on his back. There's some exercise element. He's doing handstand push-ups at one point.
Yeah.
I think he's doing like handstand push-ups with holding rocks in the air with the Force as well. It's super cool. There's Avatar, the James Cameron Avatar. He's like training and learning to be a member of the Na'vi, where she's really like...
Yeah, that's a good one.
I thought of that one as well, but wasn't able to make it on my list. Obviously had Milan on my list in contention as well. And then Arrow season 1, Daredevil, or like training with the salmon ladder. Daredevil season 3, his training when he's getting back is like Daredevil Born Again. And then one that I thought is kind of an out there pick is Wreck-It Ralph. There's a training scene in that where Vanellope von Schweetz is learning to drive. Ralph makes the track for her in the Mentos Mountain. And then like that super cool, like the Rihanna song comes on 0 to 60 in 3.5. And like she's driving like a total G. And like that's a great scene as well that didn't make my list. I think that's all of them.
I was trying to think of like
Karate Kid.
Yes, Karate Kid. I was trying to think of a good like car driving scene. The Fast Five where they're like practicing the heist, where they're like driving the car and they have to like beat the cameras. That was pretty cool. But I don't know, like you said, like it just didn't make the list.
Didn't feel as much of like the other montages felt.
Right. Yeah. As like heavy and impactful.
We could have picked original Karate Kid, which I think is 1986. And we also could have picked 2012 Karate Kid with Jackie Chan. That one is so good. I mean, they shot in China. There's shots on the Great Wall. The flexibility is also an element of that training. And then just like the full circle elements, like take the jacket on, take the jacket off. Like, and then seeing that play out in fights the choreography is so cool.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I also had on there like Iron Man's first suit up. But watching it back, I just didn't, like you said, didn't feel like it was like as much of a montage as some of these other ones.
I think we had really good picks. I mean, hey, they're not all from the Rocky franchise, but look, if you search top training montages,
literally that's all you find.
Everything on YouTube is all Rocky clips.
Yeah,
like that's
everything. We wanted to be a little bit different.
We need to set this apart a little bit.
Yeah, so we had to get a little creative here. I'm happy with my list. I like all of these scenes and I love all of these movies. I actually have my last 3 picks were all animated.
I'm happy with my picks also. I had 2 animated picks. I hope that there's like an underground group that's going to come to my aid and support Never Back Down, because I feel like a lot of people will never have heard of that movie. Just it's not as popular or not. But I think this was really fun. I'm happy with my list too. Let us know which one you guys thought was better, because we both are going to pick our own.
Yeah, interact with us in the comments. Leave us a vote. We're going to have a poll up on our Spotify, so you can leave a vote there as well. Thank you so much for watching. We post every Monday and Thursday full episodes to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you find your podcast. And then we're posting clips every single day on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, so you can chat with us there as well. Thanks again for the support, and that's a wrap.